Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, and we are going into the FA Cup weekend now, with obviously the game starting on a Thursday. It's so weird with the FA Cup game starting on a Thursday. I guess TV rights and stuff like that have changed how things are. I know there was actually a complaint about one of the Thursday games, but I think it must have got moved because it was like a smaller team playing against a big team. I can't remember who it was, but I remember the complaints on TikTok and stuff like that. People were saying, "Oh, this is one of the biggest games of this club's history, and it's getting played on a Thursday," and people were like uproar about it. But obviously, Sheffield United and Cardiff playing on a Thursday. I think Sheffield United win that one. I'm going to go through predictions of each game individually as we go through them. Everton and Peterborough. Obviously, the big talk in this game is Young versus Young, with Ashley Young playing against his own son, which I find pretty cool. But Everton should go through that game unscathed. And then Fulham Watford feels like a Fulham win, but it feels like a game where Fulham might just let it slip on that Watford win. But I'm going to back the Fulham win. 3 home wins so far. Wycombe versus Portsmouth on the Friday is going to be my first prediction for an away win for Portsmouth to go through there. So what we have: Sheffield, Everton, Fulham, Portsmouth going through so far. Some decent teams in there, some decent fixtures that could be had. Aston Villa, West Ham, I feel like it's an Aston Villa walkthrough, easy stuff. Birmingham versus Lincoln City. I think we're going to go back a Birmingham there, and then Bristol versus Wolves. Should be back in the Wolves. Should be back in the Prem team all day long there. Middlesbrough, Blackburn on the other 12 o'clock kickoff there. For the 3 12 o'clock kickoffs on a Saturday for just FA Cup, crazy. And I think Blackburn will win that game. And they've been doing well against the bigger opponents this year, I think, Blackburn. And Liverpool against Accrington Stanley as a 12:15 kickoff. The kickoff times are really weird, and it blows my head off. But yeah, I think Liverpool win that game. Come on now. Leicester versus QPR. Leicester a bit of bad form right now, but they should win that game against QPR. And then on to the 3 o'clock games, and I'm really excited for the 3 o'clock games because this weekend I am doing the Super 6 Challenge. So these are the games that I could end up with one of these cities. Bournemouth, West Brom. I wouldn't mind a West Brom, to be fair, but I do think Bournemouth win that game. Brentford, Plymouth. I do not want either of them teams to go first. I'm not going to lie to you. I do think Brentford win that game. Chelsea, Morecambe. I mean, I won't mind a Morecambe goal there. I'm not going to lie. I'm from Manchester and it's not too far from me. Chelsea winning that game, though, comfortably. I can't see a mistake happening in that game. Exeter and Oxford. It's a tough one. But I think I'd back Oxford right now. Maybe just Oxford, yeah. Norwich and Brighton. Do you know what? I've seen an upset. I've seen an upset of Norwich beating Brighton there. Forest and Luton. Forest winning that game. It's a repeat. Is that not a repeat of a couple of years ago, the playoff final? I'm pretty sure it is, right? Preston versus Charlton. I think Preston win that game. Reading, Burnley. I think Burnley win that game. And then Sunderland, Stoke for the final 3 o'clock game. Sunderland going through in that game. Then we have some other tough fixtures coming up here. Leeds versus Harrogate. Is it? You know what? I quite like that tie. And if that tie's not on TV, I've not checked what games are on TV here. If that tie's not on TV, outrage, I'm telling you. Because Leeds Harrogate, that's it's kind of a derby, I guess. But Leeds are winning that game, aren't they? And then City versus Salford. I like these close knit games. You know, close. It's not close knit in terms of playing on the pitch, but in terms of distance between the two clubs, and it's like a very much lower league club versus a bigger club. I like that because Salford are a massive club, and City, next season they'll be playing in the Conference League, really, won't they? But yeah, City win that game against Salford. If they don't, Pep Guardiola, your head might get chopped off, but I'll be here for it. Coventry versus Wednesday, I'm back in Cov. And then Leyton Orient versus Derby, back in Derby. And then Mansfield versus Wigan. You know what? That's a tough one to call. I think I'll back Wigan. Right, let's go on to the Sunday games, where obviously United playing on this day, but we'll get to it in a second. Hull playing against Doncaster. Hull win that game. Tamworth versus Spurs. The most Spursy thing on the planet to happen here would be for Spurs to lose against Tamworth, but they're not going to, are they? So Spurs win that game. Arsenal United, the way we've played against Liverpool, I back ourselves. Arsenal play midweek in a tough game against Newcastle. The tide's about turning in our favour. Arsenal win that game. Crystal Palace versus Stockport. Obviously, Crystal Palace are winning that game. Ipswich versus Bristol. Ipswich win that game. And then Newcastle, Bromley. Newcastle winning that game. A lot of Prem teams are being favoured with a home draw here, which I think is really unfair. I know there's a lot of talk about having like seeded fixtures where they help these lower teams get through into late stages into the competition. But I also think the team that is like worst off should have home advantage. Southampton and Swansea, invite this massive team to come play at your small ground and put the TV stands in. Southampton beating Swansea. Southampton beat Swansea. And then finally on Monday, Millwall playing Dagenham and Redbridge. What a throwback that is. But yeah, Millwall win that game. So into the next round, into that round of 4 for me, is Sheffield, Everton, Fulham, Portsmouth, Villa. Birmingham, Wolves, Blackburn, Liverpool, Leicester, Bournemouth, Brentford, Chelsea, Oxford, Norwich, Nottingham Forest, Preston, Burnley, Sunderland, Leeds, City, Coventry, Derby, Wigan, Hull, Spurs, Arsenal, Palace, Ipswich, Newcastle, Southampton and Millwall, which will, it'd be pretty exciting. There's some games that could happen now. It's like, I want to see how that goes. But obviously, we're getting into late stage competition later. It'll come to us, and it'll start heating up as the FA Cup always does. But there's always some good upsets, there's always some good storylines, and I'm sure this weekend will not disappoint. And I'm looking forward to it. And I will post that Soccer Saturday video on when I've sobered up from it, I guess. Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you like the video, please leave a like. Want to see more, subscribe, because more channel every single day. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you do. Catch you next time. Cheers.